You know, this is looking for reaction to the ATA's legal challenge. Would Peter Lougheed have used the notwithstanding clause?
I think he would have. When I look at what he said in response to a back to work legislation, he was quoted on record saying that if the courts ever affirmed a right to strike and prevented him from ordering his labor groups back to work, he would immediately convene the legislature to invoke the notwithstanding clause. You have to remember this right to strike is brand new and it's been written in by the judges in a 2015 decision. And so we were mindful of that decision. I'd encourage you to look at it. What it says is that you can't preemptively stop someone from striking. And if you do, you have to have a mechanism to be able to deal with their outstanding issues. That's what the 2015 decision was. So we didn't stop anyone from striking, but we did get to a point where we had to look at the balance of rights of students to an education and how that was being impacted. And we sadly have recent results from COVID that let us know that after 2 weeks, kids really lose momentum and you get learning loss. So we just simply, we asked them to come back to the table for mediation. This is the kind of thing that we were proposing that we wanted to do. Because we know that it's a lot more complex than just issues that can be resolved at a single bargaining table. You have to bring in all of the different players that we've brought in, but also all of the different ministries. And so we hope that this is a show of good faith, that we were serious about finding a different way to address the complexity issue. And we'll see how the court process plays out. I do believe that jurisdictions have the right to have their labor unions return to work. And we were a little bit concerned in this particular case, because we've got hybrid negotiations, that if we ended up resolving the provincial strike, we could have still ended up having 61 local strikes because we have two different tables. And so it was a unique situation, not obviously the one that would have been our first choice. We would have preferred for the strike to have ended with a negotiated settlement. It didn't, and so this is our response to it.
Earlier this week, when you were asked about the recall petitions, you indicated that you would deal with it once they're filed. What kind of options are you looking at? Well,
I can tell you there's some things that we're concerned about. We're concerned that some of the laws that are out there appear to have been broken because you're not supposed to be doing GoFundMes. And part of the reason for that is you need to be able to trace every dollar that comes in to fund political parties so that there isn't foreign interference. So we're a bit concerned about that. We're concerned about busing in because the rules also say that these are supposed to be local campaigns driven by local concerns. So that concerns us. And we're also concerned that there doesn't seem to be fair process for our those who have a recall petition that has been affirmed. They haven't heard from the elections official. They haven't been verified that they can start their own fundraising and their own campaigning. And so these are some process issues, maybe issues that had been overlooked in previous development of the law. And sometimes when you find problems, you have to solve them. I would hope that those candidates that have been identified for having an active recall petition, I'd hope that the elections officials would contact them soon, would give them some direction on how they can start raising money so that they can be authorized to do so, and allow them to use their candidate accounts, because we just established legislative frameworks so that that candidates are able to raise money for the candidacies. It seems absurd that those very basic procedural issues have not been resolved. So those are things that we're looking at. We're hoping that the elections officials are able to provide some clarity.